100 years ago, missionaries would pack up their items, load their clothes, load their goods, their cooking utensils, load everything, their pitchers and everything. They will load everything in containers, large containers. And they would do that to put this on ships and go to foreign lands. They had to be large enough because they knew they would never come back. They knew that these containers, that when they left to take their clothes and their goods and their pitchers or whatever, all their belongings, they knew that one day these containers would bury themselves and their children. They knew that they would never return home. It's not like today's missionaries who come in what we call in our fellowship itinerary. And that means to take a year off to raise more funds, to get on a plane and come home if there's a family emergency. They kiss mother goodbye. They kissed daddy goodbye. They kissed brothers and sisters goodbye. And when they got on that ship, and when they loaded up their wagons, and they started traveling to South America, or they got on boats to go to Europe, or Africa, or Asia, they knew that they were all in. It was all in. Everything went into their containers. Their whole life went in their containers. But these containers were not shipping containers. These containers right here were burial items. Because they knew one day the clothes that these housed would eventually have to be taken off, and their bodies, or their babies, their children, would have to be buried in these things and be placed in them in order to be buried in the land or the country that they chose to go. That is going all in. When you go all in for the gospel. A couple of months ago when I preached that message, I began a series when we started rolling out our values here at Living Waters. That was back in August going into September. 2 months before that, I was getting out of the shower and the Lord spoke to me like I'm speaking to you today. And He said, "This is the year of rebuilding." Oh, I was excited. Yes! It's fun to look at blueprints and pictures of what your house will look like. But then when you're having to deal with buying the land and dealing with contractors and dealing with people at various businesses and company, it can be a headache. And so when the Lord spoke to me that this was going to be the year of rebuilding, I was excited. And by the time I preached this message, I was exhausted. Mad at God. Why? Why rebuild? I spent 5 years building Living Waters to where we're at today. January 31st of this month, I'm coming up on 6 years at Living Waters. About 3 weeks ago, I was at Chick-fil-A. And for those who may not have been here a couple of weeks ago, today is a celebration and a sadness of some sort because we're saying goodbye to the Doves who are here on the front row. They are transitioning. We're not really goodbye. We're partnering with them. But we're partnering with them because they are transitioning over to church planting, leaving as staff pastors and going into church planting. And who has come on now, if you were not here a couple of weeks ago, is the Edus. Jeremiah and Samantha Edu have agreed to join our team and to lead our family life ministry here at Living Waters International Church. The reason why you don't see them here in our auditorium because they're over there ministering at kids and getting their kind of feet wet over there. But I was in a meeting a couple of weeks ago Me, myself, Dob, and Jeremiah. We were sitting, and I just went to eat a chicken sandwich. I left out of there mad. Dob left out of there mad. Where you at, Dob? Amen. Over there. It was pretty rough. This past Thursday, we were in a meeting. It was funny because I was sitting across from Dob, and Jeremiah was kind of in the middle, and we both said, I'm glad you're there because you're like a referee. See, tension is good. We know how to walk out of meetings and have tension and still love each other and be the best for each other. And Dob looked at me that day when we were at Chick-fil-A, only wanting a chicken sandwich, and he said, what do you want? He said, tell me what you want. And I was tired. We were coming up to our Christmas break. We have breaks too. I said, I'm going to tell you a little bit what I want, but give me 2 weeks and I'm going to blow your head off of what I want. So as I was sharing some things, it was the same things that I had shared 5 years ago that I'm going to share with you this morning. And some of the things I'm going to share this morning with you, I'm going to take just a few moments. You can put your Bibles aside. It's probably the first message I'm going to be up here to give you without any scripture. All I'm going to do is lay vision at your lap this morning. But I'm going to reveal something I've never revealed from this stage before, even though many times I alluded of it, even this past recently at Fire in the Fall. 8 years ago, Karen and I began to sense us in our life a change and a transition just similar to what the dogs have been experiencing. And God was taking us out of a place that I told Karen that my heart is here and I choose to be living here for the rest of my life and be buried here one day. And God immediately stopped all that and said, enough is enough. I need you to leave this place. And it's like, what, God? And in fact, we were on the road to go pick up Joshua, who had just been born in Missouri. We were adopting him and we were on our way. And I had to tell Karen something that I was scared to tell her because I knew if I told her that we would have to enact on it. We were coming through Atlanta, actually, on 85, coming down before you get to 285, coming from Gwinnett County, visiting my father before leaving the Atlanta metro area. And I said, Karen, I believe our season is over in Valdosta. My hope and my desire was for her to look at me and say, you have got to be out of your mind. But that's not what she said. She said, you ready? Let's do it. That's not how it's supposed to work. You get paid really well. I get paid really well. And to do this is going to uproot our well, comfortable life and pick up our life and leave. I've always said she's got more faith than I ever will have. And she said, if God is telling you to do it, then let's do it. And God miraculously sold our home. And we packed everything up, myself and Jerome, my oldest child. We packed everything up with Karen's help on the side, on a Ryder truck, sold our home, sold as much as we could, gave things away. We had yard sales, gave stuff away, sold stuff, and packed up our bare essentials and packed up our Ryder truck coming to Atlanta. It was the happiest, one of the happiest days of my life. Josh, little baby Josh, was with Karen in her car, and they drove up. Me and Jerome was having a good time kidding around and driving up here. And when I got to Atlanta, the next 3 years were rough. Or the next 2.5 years were rough. We went from 2 incomes to 1 income. Karen got a job at a university that she loathed. Stress was in our home because she was not happy. And if guys, you know, if mama's not happy, ain't nobody happy. Yet before we came up to Atlanta, God was burdening us about not only a certain place of Atlanta, or not only Atlanta, but a certain place of Atlanta. Before we had moved up to Atlanta, we drove up to Atlanta and we drove around. And I reckon this is why your transition reminds me a lot of what we went through. we knew without visiting that Lovejoy was the place for us to come. And so we drove all the way in one day from up here to go to Clayton County and drive back in one day to Valdosta. We drove up to Lovejoy and we both turned each other and we said, this is not it. This is not it. And so we started driving around. And so we knew South Clayton County was not it. That part of Clayton County was not it for our season right then. And we drove up and we got to an intersection and I turned to Karen and I said, this is it. This is it. We didn't even know where we were. We didn't know what we were doing here. We had thought we had done all the demographics. And before I tell you where it's at, we had done all the demographics. I had family members and friends and people in the ministry telling me to go to Alpharetta, telling me to go to Gwinnett County. And the reason why they thought we should go there because that was where all the money was. Yet in my heart and my desire, I would never be happy there that Clayton County was the place that I needed to go. So what happened so I go there and I'm looking at all these demographics, and at that time Jerome, who was my oldest, was in this boot camp transitional school in order to get himself his GED and going to get all of he's now serving in security right now, and he was there getting all the skills to become a better police officer or military and do that. And so I'm writing him and typing it up because we could not correspond over phone, and I'm writing him. And when I'm writing him, I'm saying, Jerome, we have found the location to where we're going, and it's going to be in South Atlanta, Clayton County. And when I'm on that computer in Valdosta, I break down crying. And to me, it was just a confirmation that Clayton County was where we're to be at. And so Karen and I are riding around, and we say, this is it, but where is this at? At the same time, I'm reading a book by a pastor, and it opens up about how a mall was given to him. A mall was given to their church to start their church. And so through everything that we've been through, we decided to come to Atlanta and to give it all in because God has told us to come to Clayton County and to go all in to what we're going to do. So we arrive at this intersection. And what is this intersection? It's South Lake Mall. And ever since South Lake Mall has been there, we've driven around the mall. We've ridden around the mall. We've always felt like, since the day we moved in Atlanta, that one day South Lake Mall would look like this. I'm going to get this blown up and put it in my office. Recently, when we had Peace in the Pasture, somebody said, you're mentioning about a property. What is that? And I said, I'm glad you asked. And I was able to share this story with you. See, when Fred Felton was here, I took Fred to South Lake Mall that Saturday that we had our servant leader session. And he and I stood outside this mall and we prayed. When the Jacksons were here about 2 years ago, Tangela rode with Karen. They were staying at our home. Ernest rode with me. Unbeknownst to each one of us, we passed by South Lake Mall, and we're passing on 75 coming to Riverdale. And I told Ernest when we left, 2 hours before you all did, I said, one day that's where Living Waters International Church is going to be. Karen comes 2 hours later with Tangela, and she says, one day that is where Living Waters International Church is going to be. Can I share my vision with you this morning? What about a church that meets in a mall, where there's a service, where one wing is a service for those who speak English, but then there's churches that are going on at the same time, and various different nationalities and languages are going on at the same time, with their own pastors speaking their own language? What if Macy's was just knocked out and then AMP Kids took over the whole store? What if the food court was a place that you could come and eat on Saturday morning, have your coffee, have lunch right after church, and people be able to come throughout the week and get a meal? Small groups happening where Journey Shoe Store is. Small groups happening where whatever store, the glasses store, or small groups happening in various sections. Conferences taking place. This is my vision. This is the place that I've been circling and stopping by many times throughout the year. On my way to the office, I will get off at the Morrow exit, get off there, and take my car and ride around the circle and pray around it in circles. And I always kept this to my heart, and I only shared it with a few. I remember when I did this graphic, Gael was in the office and said, Gael, look at this. And I showed it to Gael. And I've shared this with you. You asked me, I will share it with you. But I've never had the guts to go public like this. But I think it's time that I just share it all with you where I want to see us at Living Waters International Church. This year has been one of the hardest years, 2015, that I've gone through being pastor at Living Waters. I would like to stand up here and just really share with you all. But one of the things that Jeremiah said in our meeting Thursday, he said it's going to get harder than it's going to get better. We've been going through a coaching program every month. We go one Tuesday every month. And it's stretching us. It's stretching us. I mean, it's really asking us the hard questions. And then on top of that, we come here, and then we get our kids, and we come here, and is Dewana Seabrook here? Is she here? Where are you at? Oh, right over there. She joined us one day. She joined us, and we started cleaning up and going through every corner and cleaning up and getting our kids just, we filled up that trash can, and it gets dumped out every Thursday. Please don't bring your trash here, because we need it. We keep filling it up, and we keep filling it up. And we're just cleaning and taking pictures and sending them to one to another saying, we've got to take care of this, we've got to take care of this, we've got to do this, we've got to do that. 2015 has been a tough year. I teach this a lot, that water at 211 degrees is just water. But when you take water at 211 degrees and take it up 1 degree to boiling water, the steam can power locomotives. In 2015, we were not from various areas. And that temperature, I would have to say, we probably went down to about 100 to 125. We were just keeping it warm. And we are excited because as we're getting ready to go into 2016, we want to turn up the temperature to 2016 degrees. And I would love to say that we're here to build a church where we're just going to be blessed and entertained and da-da-da-da-da. No. I want to tell you this morning that it's not about us. It's not about us. It's about those people that live in that neighborhood over there, and the apartment complex over there, and the senior adults that live behind the library over here, and the people that use this as a walkway from the bus and Walmart going down the neighborhoods, and the neighborhoods that go all the way down here in the middle school and the high school and the elementary school and the other high school. It's all about them and not us. I'm back to I feel like I'm year one at Living Waters. Karen and I, we had a discussion the other day about our life and understanding that in the next 365 days, that many sacrifices will we have to make. Same thing I told my kids on year one when I came to be pastor at Living Waters. Dob asked me, he said, what do you want to see at Living Waters? And I want to answer that this morning. Because I think you need to know what I want to see at Living Waters. One of the things is that this is down the line. But we can't get to this unless we take care of this. He would not bless us with more unless we're good stewards over what we have now. You see, many of you want a better car, but you can't take care of the one you got now. You see? And and you want better clothes, but you can't even wash your clothes. They're all sitting in the corner. You know, and you got to be good stewards over what you have now, because if you are good and faithful over what you have now, what happens tomorrow is He'll bless you with other things. So what we have done is we have teamed up to make sure that when we team up together, we're doing the best that we can as we work together as a team to take care of what we have now. So what do I want to see for our campus and our ministry? Number one, I want to see where our campus, where excellence is a minimum standard. That's one of our servant leader values that we have here, that excellence is our minimum standard, and that we have that with our servant leaders, we have that in our building, we have that on our property, we have that in everything that is seen either on our website or on our social media site, that excellence is everything. They see excellence in quality, excellence in ministry. That now we have got Living Waters to where we are today. But one of the things that we're facing right now at Living Waters on our campus is that we need some more modernization to do in our campus. And so what we're doing this week is, what we're doing this year is working on ways that we can modernize even in our own campus. One of the things that I have desired and that I place in the EDUs, and I appreciate what Andrew, let me tell you about Andrew. Andrew will do whatever you ask him to do. That's how faithful he's been. And when we had a leadership that we had to make changes over there, I asked Andrew, could you please just keep it together over there until we find someone else? And every week Andrew would say, when you got somebody. In fact, I think that's the reason why he wanted to transition so quickly. He just wants to get out of Am Kids. That's how loyal Andrew is. That's how much he has always been committed to the local church. But I have asked the EDUs, I said, I have always envisioned our children's ministry to be talked about in the community, that this is the church where parents you want to attend and grandparents you want to attend, because this is the church where your kids need to go. Because we believe at Living Waters, and they're going to say they believe at Living Waters, that spiritually strong parents build spiritually strong children. And so their list, I've gotten their list of stuff, they're not cheap. The EDUs are expensive. And you know why they're expensive? Because their vision is big. They've been up here all week long. They've been meeting with Andrew this week. They're learning everything they can to get up here. I mean, Dob and I were going to step in and help them for the first month. They said, no, we want it all ourselves. They want to put the EDU stamp of approval on there. And so they've been meeting on that. But we want to build a world-class area over there for our children, so that they can be spiritually equipped like you're being spiritually equipped over here. Amp Kids will never be and has never been a babysitting service. It's the place where we're raising up the next generation. And what we're doing over there and what the EDUs are doing is family life. That means that after they attack Amp Kids, they're going to be focusing on preschool, they're going to be focused on student ministries, and they're focusing on our nursery, and they're getting that all up. Now let me tell you something, parents. Changes are coming. Some of them, first of all, we're battling efficiency based on security. And some things you're going to have to wait, because we're going to add and increase our security over there. But if we have to add and increase our security, what can we do to make it efficient so that parents can get in and get out? But we are going to have, for security reasons, create security over there. You're going to have to physically check them in somehow. At the same time, we've already been acquiring mobile tablets and equipment, iPads and things like that, so that when we get ready for a check-in system, we can meet you at the door and you can check them in right there and get on in. But what we want to build over there, not only is going to be excellent, but we need leaders. That means you serving with them. And you can say, well, I don't even like kids. We have things over there you will never have to deal with a kid on. I promise you. If you don't like kids, there's a place for you to be involved in right there. And then One of the things that I share, I want to continue to see diversity at Living Waters, not racially. We've got that done, okay? What I want to see is that we continue to have professionals, and we continue to have those. For example, our church, because of our breakfast ministry and the love that we have for people, many homeless people call Living Waters home. And what you may not be knowing is that you as a professional person may be sitting beside someone that doesn't have a home. I know they don't have a home, but you don't. And one of the things that make us different from everybody else is because that's what happens here at Living Waters, and it is okay. And I want to see that continue on. Listen, we are a church, and one of the things we want to do is that we want to continue to help people fish. Not hand out fishes, but as we help them through benevolence, we also want to teach them how to fish. And we want to teach people how to stand up on their 2 feet, stand up financially. Some folks need to get a J-O-B because you are miserable staying at home. We want our small groups to grow, not only in the number, but in the quality of them. Small groups, look at this, doing outreaches. Small groups doing ministry together. Small groups doing mission trips together. Small groups learning together, learning who they are and who God is, and learning who they are in God. But one of the things that also has come up too is that we want Riverdale to know that we care. We want to adopt neighborhoods. We want to be in the festivals that Riverdale is doing. If they're doing something, especially if they're serving beer and seafood, I want Living Waters right there in the middle of it. And letting us know that we're right there. And we're the church for you. And so when you get after your hangover, you better come and hang out at Living Waters. And we'll give you the wine that you never thought you would have to be able to drink. And that's the new life that God will give you with that. But we want to be there. We want to partner with our police department. We want to partner with our schools. We want to partner with our city council and our mayor. That this is the church that is here for Riverdale. Another thing we want to do is that we want to see people transition from regular attenders to members. And we have a lot of people who are regular attenders. And you love Living Waters. But we want you to become owners of Living Waters, not just attenders of Living Waters. We want you to take possession of your church. And one of the things that we talked about this past Thursday in our meeting, we had what, 4-hour meeting, Doc? We're going to celebrate baptisms. We're going to hype up baptisms because we're going to see this baptism filled with many people this year being baptized. After they accept Jesus Christ, which last Sunday, 14 people dedicated or rededicated their life to Christ through last Sunday. Amen? Baptism is a big deal. Ownership at Living Waters is a big deal. And then also we want to make it sure that when you bring a guest, we want you just to sit back and allow your guests to enjoy themselves. Because we're going to take the responsibilities of making sure that they are taken care of and that they know they are welcomed here at Living Waters International Church. So we want you to resign from wondering about, are they going to be embarrassed? Is somebody going to call them? You know if you go to Living Waters that nobody's going to embarrass them. Nobody's going to call them out. But also you got to know that when they fill out a connection card, and listen, we need everyone filling out a connection card every week. Because the reason why we do that, so that our guests feel comfortable filling it out also. When they see you fill it out on your road, they're going to fill it out also. And so when that happens, we want to do that. And so we want, when the connection cards come out, and when you walk in, make sure you pick up a connection card every week. And I'm going to tell you how you're going to be able to do that in just a second. Listen, back in this, we rolled out our values back in the first part of this fall. We said, number one, that people are more important than things. We said, save people, serve people. We said, we're going to be bold in our generosity. We said, we're a church where small groups are a big deal. And we said, number five, that spiritually strong families build spiritually strong children. But listen, if we can put back that all in up here. But listen, at Living Waters, we want you to do these four things. Number one, we want you to connect. We want you to connect with others. We want you to connect to a small group. We want you to connect with Living Waters financially. Listen, if you love Living Waters, you should be giving to Living Waters. You only give the things that you love. Right, McDonald's? Right, Walmart? Yes, it takes finances to run Living Waters International Church. And this year, and I'm going to talk about Andrew, because this is what I appreciate about Andrew. And Ron, you can testify about this, that you were in that room, because when we set our salary, almost 6 years ago, Ron, you said, along with those transition members, you said, would you take a cut in salary? I said, yes, but I plan on never doing that. Do you remember that? And I never had to do that. Yet this year, I, and along with this great man right here, decided to take a cut so other staff members and their families could be blessed. We were hit that hard financially this year. And we thought that in the summer we would come out of that summer slump financially, but we never did. In fact, the Seabrooks were here on our clean team yesterday, and Antonio texted me and said the lights went out. And Gael, who does our bookkeeping, I thought I had to do a phone call with her. But listen, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. We're progressing along, but it was just a joke, and I sweated a little bit because I didn't communicate with Gael about that. I told Gael about 2 months ago that we were going to take care of our tithe first at Living Waters, and then we're going to take care of the staff, and then we're going to take care of everything else. And I gave her an order. I was worried that she got those things out of order when I got that text yesterday. Because Gael's going to do that. You said, Pastor. With that. And so with that, but I appreciate you, Andrew. I appreciate you, Rhonda, for allowing your husband to do that. That this man is man enough. That he and I teamed up together so other staff members financially could be blessed. And let me say this too. That young lady stopped taking a salary 2 months ago. Gael. She stopped taking a salary 2 months ago. And she said it was the Spirit. This pastor was not happy. Sabre wasn't happy. But she said, the Lord told me to. And that's how tough it got here at Living Waters. This is the year where we're going to strengthen our cords. This is the year where we're going to tighten our poles. This is the year where we're going to get stronger. We're getting wiser. And this is the year where we're going to turn up the heat at Living Waters. The heat of the Spirit. The heat of reaching people for the lost. The people reaching lost souls. Listen, Rachel cried out, give me children lest I die. And we cannot be content to be barren in the household of God. Cry and sigh until you have snatched some brand from burning and have brought at least one sinner to Jesus Christ this year. And listen, we're not asking you to go and present Jesus to people. We're asking you to simply bring them to Living Waters. We'll take over all the work for you. Jonathan Edwards made a resolution in the 17th century, a well-known revivalist and preacher. The number one thing on his resolution was this, and I want to read it and then I'm going to break it down to you. Resolved, he said, number one, that I will do whatsoever I think to be most to God's glory and to my good, profit and pleasure in the whole of my duration, without any consideration of the time, whether now or never, so many myriads of ages hence. Resolved to do whatever I think to be my duty and most for the good and advantage of mankind in general. Resolved to do this, whatever difficulties I meet with, how many and how great soever. Let me tell you what Jonathan Edwards said in this resolution that he did in the 17th century. I'm going all in. And I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to go wherever I need to go. I'm going to do whatever I need to do all of that. To take the gospel to where it needs to go. And at Living Waters, beginning now, I want us as a church to go all in and say we're going to do whatever it takes. We're going to give financially. We're going to give sweat. We're going to give of our talents. We're going to give of ourselves. We're going to give of our ideas. We're going to give of things that we don't even want to do, but we're going to give them so that we can go all in to advance the kingdom of God here in North Clayton County. That we as a church, I want to do my part, and I am going all in. That's what Jonathan Edwards was saying, and that's what I want to come to appeal to you. That we need you to go all in with us. Listen, the writers of the Constitution, when they gathered together in a room with blinds going down the window in Philadelphia, these men who were people who invented, had businesses, ran businesses, had wealth, had expertise, had education, some of the best education around. They were men of stature. They said, I give my life. They said, I give my fortune, and I give my sacred honor. And this is the thing that I have been to myself in the past couple of months, is that I choose to give my life, I choose to give my wealth, and I choose to give my sacred honor to Living Waters International Church so that we can advance the kingdom of God here in Riverdale in North Clayton County. On your connection card, if you don't have a connection card, we can have some hosts. We've got some things that I would like for you to take some time out. And so with that, as our connection cards come out, we want you to take that connection card and take some time. You'll have a few moments to fill that out. But there's 3 things on there that I would like to connect with you on. Number 1 is that I want you to go all in with the vision. The vision and the mission of Living Waters International Church. And then there's 2 areas that right now that we need you to serve in. We need servant leaders here. Number 1 is this is the month in January that our clean team meets. They meet every Saturday from 8 to 10 o'clock every Saturday morning. We've got 2 vacuum cleaners. We got people that work in the bathrooms. We got people that work over in the AMP Center to sweep and get that all cleaned up. It takes them about 2 hours to get our campus ready. And maybe that's an area where you can serve at. And if you have, fill that out and just mark that and put your email address on there or your phone number. Somebody will contact you where you choose to be contacted this week so that you can be a part of that. The second thing is this, is that we need hosts. Bad. And you know why? Because it's our vision to have people greet people from the time they get out of their car. In fact, we want to see people greet people from the time they enter the parking lot and motion people where they can go park at. And then when they get out of the car, just motion to people where they can go. All it takes is a smile. You go to that door over there. Welcome to Living Waters. Hey, good morning. You go over that door right over there. Service has already started 30 minutes ago, but you can jump on in there, go in. Hey, that's all it takes. Now what we don't need is somebody to go, The door over there. Go, open the door. We don't need nobody like that, okay? We need folks that will escort people to places. We need folks that will open these doors right here. Both of them. Look, all it takes. Let me get that door for, hey, welcome to Living Waters. Hey, come on in. That's all it takes. Now the key about this is some of you, it's easy for you to be nice and to smile. This is another thing. You got to be here at 10:30. Now I know that's hard because you got to get out of bed. That means you can't sleep in on Sunday. And on top of that, you've got to show up. And Now, you don't have to do it every Sunday, and we're going to make sure if you don't want to do it every Sunday, you don't have to do it every Sunday. We're not requiring you to be every Sunday. But you at least got to show up. You got to be nice. You got to be on time. Okay? You cannot come and say, I'm going to greet and show up at 11:30 when you get out of the car and everybody else coming at 11:30. Okay? One day, real soon, is our vision, because we've seen it in action, that we want to be able to pick. Just think about it. Just think about what happens if Living Waters does this. We don't have an awning for you to park under. What would it be like if we were able to pick you up in a covered golf cart on a rainy day and bring you up as close as we can to the door and drop you off? That's our vision that we want to see here at Living Waters. Golf cart can be one thing. It's a financial thing, one thing. But the other thing is this. It takes somebody to drive one. And you know what? My father has one. Joshua can drive it. But that is a host position that we want to feel. We want to treat people that when they come here, they will never, ever forget how they felt when they leave here. People will like the preaching. People will enjoy the music, but they never will forget how they were treated when they get here. And we want to make sure they get that nice experience when they come. But it takes host. And now we've made some transitions. Now Jeremiah is really dedicated over there, working with AMP kids. So he's floating back and forth. And so with this, he's assisting us because Jeremiah is also assuming a lot of responsibility that Gael has been doing, because Gael's got school now. She can't do it all no more. She has been so great. So faithful, and she has been, Andrew knows, she's been right there along the way, all the time. Everything that we've always asked, she's been right there to do what we needed, and doing that. But Jeremiah and Gael over the next 2 months will be transitioning a lot of responsibilities over Jeremiah, because Jeremiah is stepping up to help us with administration and helping us with that. So a lot of changes are taking place. But we want you to help us. And these are the two areas we're focusing on this Sunday. And listen, I come from the school that every owner at Living Waters, if you're at a door or at that door or out in the parking lot or in your chair, should be a host. And that means you need to make those who are around you feel welcome at Living Waters. It doesn't take a lot to turn around and say, hi, welcome to Living Waters. I'm glad you're here. And just be like that. So in your connection card, if you want to go all in, just mark that thing and say, hey, I'm going all in with the vision and the mission of Living Waters International Church. Maybe you're interested in being part of that host team where you wear a smile. You're going to be here at 10:30. You're going to be right on time. You're going to be right there. That you want to be a part of that host team. Someone's going to contact you this week to be part of that host team and where you can serve right there. So maybe you want to fill that out. Or maybe you said, look, I don't even like people. I don't even like myself. But I don't mind coming up and cleaning. Listen, you can be part of the clean team and nobody ever talk to you. I do it once a month. I come up here and help on a Saturday. I don't even know where they're at. I'm just vacuuming away with earphones in my head. And so that's how that is. And so maybe you come up here and you can help be a part of that clean team on Saturdays. Only during the month of January, and it'll be again in March. And you don't have to be here every Saturday. They appreciate any help they can get on Saturday. And so when you fill that out, what we'll do, we're going to send that over to the Seabrooks, and they'll email you or contact you, or we'll help them contact you, let you know. And we want you to be a part of that so that you know when to arrive. Listen, that team is phenomenal. I mean, when you come, you have a clean bathroom on Sunday when you come here because of them and everyone who serves with that team. Because of them, someone's serving. So you want to be a part of that and do that. And maybe you're here today and you haven't been in church at all in 2015. And you're saying, I want to make a new commitment. I want to rededicate my life to Christ this morning. And maybe that's you. Maybe you have, I want you to take time this morning to fill out. Just check that out. Put your name on there. Check that out off. We'd love to contact you this week and let you know where you can get started at Living Waters to build a life of faith that you have. Or maybe you have a prayer request this morning. Listen, we want you to be able to fill that out this morning And what I do is I take those, when I get those from Sunday morning's worship experience, I carry those with me all week long. And I pray over them. And then at the end of the week, after I'm through praying, I just send a note to everybody that if they have your information, I just send a text or an email to say, I'm praying for you this week. Because I have, and when I see you, I usually say, how's everything going? Because I saw it on your card, and I've been praying for you. And so fill that out. But we want you to fill this out every week. Listen, if you fill this out every week, you don't have to put your address and number unless you have a change of information. You can just put the so-and-so family, and we know that you're here. That's all you got to put. But guess what? By you just putting that on there, the person right beside you goes, I don't fill this out too because I see other people filling it out. And that way, that one guest, when they fill that out, then I'm able to send them a handwritten letter to say, welcome to Living Waters. Handwritten. We're so glad that you came here to Living Waters. And I send that out about Tuesday of every week. So with us, take time to fill that out.